Next to Lavina, AAU ambassador, and Lavina has got a beautiful nickname, aka AI mom. Why do they call you the AI mom?
It was something that I inherited a few years ago. I was actually lecturing a few of the African females in the technology space, studying particularly machine learning. And they had a bit of difficulty in terms of pronunciation of my name. And so we came up with AI Mom collectively, and it stuck for years.
Wow, I love it. And I was so excited to stand next to the AI mom. I even forgot to say hi one more time.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. And you are from AU. They call you the AU ambassador. And I was thinking, as I was about to interview, what does it mean to be an AU ambassador?
Yeah, so particularly it's for the African Union 6 region, which is really talking to the diasporan community. And there's a lot of IP that lives outside the continent. There's a lot of wealth that lives outside the continent, and there's a lot of IP, right? So collectively, what can we do that to help to infiltrate that back into the continent from either recognition of citizenship, which a lot of countries have already started to embrace. Second to that is how can we start putting together a vehicle and allowing the 6th region to become an economic region so that it's effectively contributing to the continent.
Which one is the 6th region?
So it's the African diaspora. So usually Africa has 5 regions: the north, south, east, west, and central. And now they have, mandate to look at the 6th region and bringing that on board.
And you also spoke about protecting the IP. How are you doing that?
How much of time do you have?
I have a little bit of time to understand this topic quite well.
No, this is quite key, right? When we talk about the creative industry itself, intellectual property is the foundation of it. And the way that I look at it is using both my technological hat and my, public sector hat. Is you as an artist, if you generate an idea and then utilize AI tools for it, then I think the IP should really sit on your end of the scale. Whereas if you get the AI to generate the ideas and then you tweak that, then that's a different conversation to have. At the end of the day, I always ask the question, what is the commonality? So what is a movie? What is a book? What is, a song? What are all of these things and what do they have in common, right?
How much of the change would you encourage people to make changes when they are doing, manipulating somebody's IP?
So, there's always the foundation of going back to what is ethical inside you. So we know that we're born knowing what is right and wrong, and we understand that fundamentally. So, if something doesn't feel right, just don't do it.
Would you say you are a fan of free use or fair use, and why?
Okay, explain a little bit more.
Okay, let's leave it. Let's leave it. Your contribution to the creative synergy.
So I've been involved with every policy that has been made on the continent from an artificial intelligence perspective, both on a continental as well as in-country level. In addition to that, I've been part and parcel of the Nigerian Creative Arts Industry Bill that was put together and successfully passed. So I think I've had somewhat of an idea when it comes to, what the industry together with the collective voice that is actually needed. In addition to that, I've worked on intellectual property law for a few of the countries. And at the moment, I also sit as an advisor to some of the ministers on the continent. So, it's an active process. I was always seated on the outside, saying that we require more regulation. And now that I'm in it, I really understand both sides of the coin, and I'm here to say that we need to streamline the regulations that are there. We need the regulations to actually start talking to each other. So, for example, how does a data privacy policy actually talk to the creative art industry bill How does it talk to an AI policy? How does it talk to IP? How do we get an encompassment and a very simple thing that can actually cover a wide stream at the end of the day?
A lot of creatives out there don't really have the money to protect their ideas, and sometimes it takes, rigorous processes for one to register. How are you guys, through policy, planning on assisting those people quicker? We're seeing a lot of young people with great ideas, but they struggle to get those ideas out there till they're either stolen or disappearing, or they just become despondent.
Yeah, this is a age-old problem, right? Irrespective of the industry we find ourselves in, and I think this is something that needs to be worked on by all that's in that ecosystem. So, if we look at it from a policy perspective or from a governmental perspective, what are we actually doing to make the barrier to market a lot less? Right? When we have to look at, how do we support an entire creative industry? What are we actually doing to unlock that? Are we supporting it with a fund? Is it an impact fund? Is it a sustainability fund? Is it, are we just doing it for a short term with a very short vision, right? But I think, the longitude sort of view of all of this is we have, different politicians coming in and out based on their term. What we do need is longevity of a vision.
Would you say your, I wouldn't even say organization, or whoever you're representing, because I'm not too sure. AU, what would you call AU though?
Well, the African Union is really the embodiment for the 55 member states across the continent, and it's there as a guidance to all 55 member states in terms of the things that the directions we should be going in. Right.
So would you say that you work in conjunction with departments, and do they listen to you or not? Because as much as you are in a continental structure, but are you able to have that kind of influence, or you have to go through the African Parliament first, or?
Yeah, it is structured, unfortunately. And these are barriers that we're looking to seriously, remove, because technology is moving at such a pace that, you go to bed today, you wake up tomorrow, and life's changed completely. And there's a new tool that you've got to all of a sudden figure out, if not at least 5 new tools. So based on the rapidness of that, I think within our own structures, we need to really sit back and think, how can we streamline that structure so that we can adapt to the the movement that is actually happening on the ground.
Having participated here at the Creative Synergy, what would you say is your take going back to report to your bosses?
Yeah, one is that we need to start taking a very holistic approach to all of this. We need to start supporting it because it is a large contributing factor. I know that part of the African Union, there's a lot of different initiatives that we've got on the table for next year that's happening. In terms of what is putting together a charter as an example for the creative industry, but I think locally homegrown, it's also how do we help to structure a creative arts industry bill as an example, that is supportive of the work that is being done. In addition to that, I think the last bit for me is how can we start allowing creatives to cross-culture their work, right? Because there's still something that we're missing in terms of the uniqueness of who we are. Right? We still seem to be very siloed and boxed in our approaches, whether we say we're creative or, we policy or, whichever end of the spectrum we're sitting at. And I think that's the barriers for me that really stand out.
Thanks a lot. It was great talking to you. There's a lot I need to ask you. Maybe we should arrange an interview where we sit down for 1 hour and you just break it down nicely. Because I feel like I might be representing people, but knowing too much, and I need to take it a bit slow. Thanks a lot.
More than happy to honor that.
Thank you.
Thank